I am so excited to be here today with you guys. You know what? This is over 140 episodes recorded here today on the 5-Minute Bark. And guess what? We've got an awesome guest here today. And our conversation started before this even happens here. This episode is about mom and pops. And this beautiful young lady wanted to go get a coffee, but I said, let's go to Starbucks right down the street. She says, I want to support the mom and pops. And, I just had this conversation with a good friend of mine not too long ago. I was actually creating an initiative about this, about creating networks with people that are local and honest and want to promote good business amongst others. And China Brooks is here today, and she is an amazing person. I'm sure we're going to be hearing a lot about her today, and I'm going to learn a lot about her here today. So China Brooks, say hello to everybody here today.
Hi, everybody.
Yay.
Yay.
Yeah, we're here today, and I'll tell you what, we met at a conscious network put on by Marcy Peters in San Diego here today. And, we got the chance to chat with different people at this event, and I got a chance to chat with China, and we were in this group, and we almost took over the group. It was kind of fun, but we had a lot to talk about. And I said, China, you have to come on my show. And she said, absolutely. So she's here today, and we're going to have her give a little brief talk about what she's all about to this world.
Oh, hello, everyone. Dennis, thank you so much for having me.
No problem.
Such a pleasure.
Yeah.
A really beautiful, beautiful day here.
I know. We're very lucky, aren't we? We got a waterfall in our backyard here, and we've got Codie Monster running around eating food, and we're having a good time.
Yeah, really good time. My name's China Brooks, everybody. You can find me, Google me. I've got a website. I've got 300 videos on my YouTube, all providing value for you guys to enjoy. I have been having a spiritual practice since age 15. I am now 40. Love being 40.
The big 4-0.
The big 4-0. It just gets better, people.
Yes, it does.
So I help people with spirituality, and I also help people with prosperity consciousness. You'll find they're really one and the same. The deeper you go within, the more prosperous you feel in every area of your life. So with that being said, I also help people find their great work, align with their great work in the world and what their legacy is, and then create a premium, high value offering, product line offering, coaching package, whatever it is, and then sell that with heart. I love sales. I really believe that sales is love and self-respect. As my coach Gulliver from Strategic Anarchy, he talks about that a lot. So, it's just all about providing value for people. Tremendous, immense amount of value.
Value is something I've always given in any of my businesses I've had. I've got a couple now, and it's just been default for me. I don't know if it's just my upbringing of being in a small town where you just kind of like, you're always over your neighbor's house shoveling his driveway, or you're helping him with his car when he's broken down on the side of the road. And, in my world, how do we trust a friend? It's the value of our relationships. And we always do the friend chest. Like if I was stuck in Dallas, Texas, and I needed a ride home because my car was broke down, who are you going to call? Right?
Yeah.
Or if you need a ride to the airport, who are you going to call? Most people say, here's $20, get an Uber, or, your true friends will say, absolutely, what time? And I'm very, very, very lucky to have these type of people around me. But it has to happen as well in business. It has to be where you have people like this around you in business. The value of having these people is exponential. And I'm sure we're going to talk about this forever here today. But sometimes it just doesn't come down to price. Maybe somebody is half price, but they're not giving you 100% of what the other person is going to give you in the long term. And, it's funny, I just posted a video for this event that we're holding tomorrow. And we had talked very highly about, what people offer as human beings to each other. Mm. And I think you're a big part in this world and what you're giving.
Mm. I mean, I teach my people, it's cool to charge more. You gotta give tremendous value. Yep. And I would rather actually, even if whether it's free or whether it's a higher price package or mid-range, it's gotta be something that's just serving. The service has to be there, right?
Right, absolutely. And in a big way, it has to, make sure that they're happy and they're going to give to others because of that. Mm.
Absolutely right. Because it has to provide transformational value. It's got to literally change somebody's life.
Yep.
I agree. And I love your point about talking about businesses. There has to be a reciprocation there. Mm-hmm. Right?
Absolutely.
Where it's not a take thing. It's a give and take. It's a giving and receiving.
I experience it a lot. Obviously I do websites and different things like that, but I experienced it a lot where people want to go for the cheaper price, but they don't want to see, not everybody, again, they're going for the cheaper price, but what does price do in the long term, right? What does that product or that service or that person give you long term? They can't see that right there. They just see, well, I can get this for $50 versus $500 or $100. Exponentially a difference in price. It's like, well, I can't afford to do that. Well, you can't afford not to do that.
Yes, my coach Gulliver says the reason why they can is the reason why they must.
Yeah.
And I say that to myself all the time. China, the reason why you can't is the reason why you must.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that, charging higher prices doesn't always mean that the value is there, though. And I think it really depends on the individual. So I know for me and the people that in my circles that I do business with, it really comes down to, I do charge higher prices for some of my master courses because the values, I just really work. I invest a lot into people. Right. Mm-hmm. And I also too, I feel like the more people will pay, the more committed they are, the more invested they are into really doing the work.
Right.
To transform their lives.
Yeah.
Right.
No, you're right. You're correct. Obviously, there's the exceptions to the rules on both sides.
Right.
Right. There's always exceptions to the rules, but I think people understand that. When you go, I think in my experience in business, the people that came to me and wanted a discount were 80% of the problem. The people that came to me and were willing to pay my price and prepaid me or said, "Hey, here's your check. Do I just want to write it now?" Right. They're the ones that got the most value, and I was happy. They were happy. And it all executed perfectly because they trusted you. They know trust in you. So there's just something about understanding the power of attracting the people that are willing to pay for you versus trying to get the people, giving the discount to get the people to trust you. Right. Sometimes those people aren't worth working with because they're never going to trust you. They're going to trust the next guy who's the next priced.
That's right. Or you get the people that they come and do the program and they don't really do the work. So then they're on to the next program. And I honestly don't want those people either. I don't even care if they have the money. I won't take it.
But on to more spiritual stuff. I think that's the funner stuff for me.
I think too, though, there is an element of spirituality in this because we're talking about the merging of, I would say, spirituality and money, the merging of spirituality and economics is a big topic right now, especially for people that offer certain kinds of healing work or healing modalities. I think that a lot of people have been brought up with a kind of a spirituality means a vow of poverty sort of thing.
Yeah, you're right.
Right. So on to the spiritual thing, but I just wanted to touch upon that a little bit.
I'll be honest. We kind of talked about this a little bit before I came on mic here, and I'm an open book, so I don't care about talking about it. But, Same. I'm running this podcast. It's been over a year now, year and a half. And starting it out, you don't make any money, essentially. It's just gift of giving. 140 episodes, your gift of giving. And now it's time to monetize. Obviously, I have to pay the bills. I have to, live this lifestyle. And I find myself really trying to fight with that whole, I'm giving, my courses are all around giving. They're all about creating educational value, resources and stuff like that. And I really haven't found, inner confidence with the switch over to money versus giving. Because I would, if I had money, I would just give what I'm doing away. That's right. Right. But I have to charge for sponsorships. I have to maybe even charge for people to come on as premier guests on my show to raise money. I have to create courses and create products and so on and so forth. So I personally have been fighting with that. I don't know if you want to call it a demon or whatever, to be confident in the charge for, like you said, the giving and the mix between the two.
Right. Yeah, this is a thing for people, and it's a hump that people have to get over. Once you're over it, you're over it. But it does take something, and it's something that's really going on. I find is very active in society right now. We're just having this because we value corporate work. We value 9-to-5 jobs. We value, say a brain surgeon, a doctor or whatever. However, people don't see the amount of work, like the amount of work that you've put in, all of your equipment, how much all this must have cost you, just everything that you've done, right? And the same thing with me, I've got 300 YouTube videos. It's like people are not, sometimes they don't make the connection between the fact that actually cost me money to put those out, just as this costs you money to put this stuff out. You've probably done well over 10,000 hours of study, of practice. This is the same thing with, a doctor. You wouldn't go into the grocery store and expect to get groceries for free, right? It's the same kind of thing. I didn't go into the mom and pop store today and get my coffee and think that they were going to give it to me for free, right? How were they going to pay their rent that way?
Right.
So, it's very interesting. I saw an interview with Sarah Silverman, and it's there's a really great show. It's called The Conversation. And she came in, the host, Amanda DeCadenet, came in to Sarah's home to interview her for The Conversation. And she said she was surprised when she saw her home, just a plain apartment. And she said, "Why are you living here? You've got tons of money." And she said, "Well, I live simply this way so that I have money to create free YouTube content for people." So, I mean, if that tells you anything, even somebody like that, there has to be a way that the person is charging. You can't just keep giving the free content. The difficulty with it is that people want, when you're doing spiritual work, when you're doing podcasts or anything like that, basically what you're doing is giving information to people. You're giving free information that transforms lives. And people sometimes want you to be there. They want that to be your full job because they want you to be present, right, in a certain way. But that takes money. So sometimes the person will end up having two jobs. I know that was me for a long time. I was an actor, successful working actor in Los Angeles, and that paid for my YouTube content. But in order to really give service you got to kind of cut that out and just do one thing. So there has to become a point where you charge, or your attention and your energy is going to be split trying to do two jobs, having one job to pay for the other, right?
Right.
Yeah. So
in the mix there's a transformation over.
That's right.
For sure.
Absolutely.
And, I think that really, I think it's more me than my customers. I think
it
really,
is. Oh, definitely.
It's more my energy, my energy toward it. And, and I almost feel like I'm in this cycle of it's never enough. I'm not giving enough value. I'm not giving enough. There's gonna be, let's stack more value on. Let's stack more value on. And really, it's like I know from a step back that there's too much value already for a lot of the things I do. So it is something that I think a lot of coaches, people that are giving away resources, that kind of nature, struggle with at first to get over that hump. And then after a while, you just name your price and they start lining up. So it's really interesting to be tackling that right now. Cause I've been in business, I've done very successful businesses, but this is something different. It's more selling, me, as a gift to them and understanding. Right. And it's me selling, my experience, not selling a product. Like here's this remote control,
right?
$9.95, so they're not getting something physical. They're getting some momentum. I call it momentum. So.
See, and I think there's a couple of things. This is such a great conversation. A couple of things to touch upon. One of the things is that you got to look at the opportunity cost and the opportunities missed.
Yes.
Because maybe like for me, if somebody comes to me for spiritual help, and maybe they're in a program, they had to leave work because they're having a lot of trouble. They're not very healthy, or they're not living the right way, so their momentum is off. And they weren't able to take maybe a $30,000 job that they could have taken. So there's a cost there. What's that costing you?
Yep.
And that's what you got to look at when you're not selling a tangible product. It's basically, okay, but if you had coaching with me, say we're coaching right now, I can help you keep your momentum, live a healthier lifestyle, so that the next time the $30K job offer comes around, you don't have to miss it because your life's off balance. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
that's the thing, is like, you gotta, people have to look at the cost. There's really a price you're paying, and it's so much greater than money.
Yep.
It's like, there's a price, and it's not the money that I'm going to ask you to spend, right? It's all the other stuff. And then also too, I've seen other coaches who have crossed the hump and they are charging well, and they still have I'm not enough. So they're over delivering sometimes to a point of exhaustion. I still see that happen. So it comes down again to the feeling of I'm not enough. What I'm offering is not enough. I'm not good enough. My offering isn't good enough. And that's something that if you have people and they're messaging you and they're saying, oh my God, this changed my life, or this really helped me, then you know you've got something there.
Right.
There's got to come a point when we start conserving energy and start closing the gaps, closing up all the energetic leaks. And part of that is feeling like I'm not enough and I need to overgive in order for people to, right? We start trying to oversell.
Yep.
So that's a thing too.
Yeah, no, it's funny because this is something I've really been resonating with a lot lately. Like, why am I thinking this way? Why am I not turning it over? Because I have all the resources, I have all the abilities to do what I need to do, and it's kind of like a conversation I had with some East Coast friends of mine. It's like you just need to do it, go forward with it, and do it, and charge it, and be happy with it, and like you said. I get the people reaching out to me all the time saying, hey, this stuff's great. This stuff's great. Anytime they use my products or services, they love it. But like you said, you just continually to I want to put more on. I want to put more on. I want to put more on. It's like, oh, I can offer one more thing with it to get even more sales or get more people. It's a loop, but I know I'm in. I know a lot of people are in too. I guess one of the questions is how would people stop that loop? Just complete trust?
Trust is one thing. And I also find that when I do, or I have in the past been overgiving, it also attracts the kind of clients and people that will expect that. Mm-hmm. And that's exhausting. They'll expect you to just kind of tap a vein and that those are the needier people that are not necessarily going to do the work. Because the thing is I'm not creating other followers. I'm creating other leaders. I want people to be a leader. So I would say, and this is something that I actually teach my students. You got to look at, so you've already given enough value. What you've done is enough, period. The end. It's time for you to monetize. It's time for you to get paid. Right. And again, like I'm saying, you don't want to overgive and be attracting those kinds of clients because those are going to be more difficult clients, more needy clients, heavier people, right? You want people that are going to be excited. I'll do whatever I need to do. If I don't have the money right now, I will find it. You see that kind of attitude. I'll do whatever it takes. That kind of attitude, right? So what I look at, and this is, like I said, I teach my students, this is you want to look at what it costs you to maintain your lifestyle, your current lifestyle. And then you want to also look at, so this is budgeting 101, right? And then you also want to look at your perfect day, what it would cost you to maintain your perfect day. And that this is for a month's time. So you need to have both of those numbers. And then you need to take a look at how many clients you would need at what price point to be able to fulfill both of those numbers. And then you're going to structure, you have your programs. And what I do is if somebody comes and they are talking to you about, oh my God, you changed my life, or blah, blah, whatever they say, or, thank you so much. That's actually a prospect. That could be somebody that may need further help. Right. And I like to talk to that person and find out what their vision is. What's your vision? What's standing in the way, to see if there's common ground where I can help them. Mm-hmm. And if not, maybe they need a referral to someone else, or there's something, and then I place them, I may offer them a spot in one of my higher level masterminds. Maybe they're not ready for that yet. So I'll place them into something else, but I do my best to make sure that they don't walk away empty handed. Right. And that's the thing is people don't want to, a lot of times they're afraid to get on the phone and talk to people. I love that you called me right away. I tried calling everybody. I just fired somebody yesterday because they wouldn't call me. They wanted to text and email. Right. If you watch my Facebook feed, I need to talk to people because that's just how I do business. Yeah, it's so important. Isn't it? I love voice to voice. Yeah. And it's like, how am I going to know if I can really serve someone and I can really help them transform their lives if I don't get on the phone with them, if I don't see them? I took on a client once and they were preferring to do email because they wanted everything tracked, and after the project was done, it went on way too long, practically bankrupt me actually. And a $15,000 project turned into a $75,000 project. So, but
I had over 400 email exchanges with that one person. Oof. When it could have been 20.
Right.
Because when you talk back and forth, you get through the issues of what you need to do and structuring and how it's all going to work, the process. And, when we're building a website, there's a lot of process and a lot of different things we had to work with. So it's like, it's simple, but you're going to go back and that turns into like a word fight, so, but when you're talking back and forth, you get through things so a lot easier.
So I would have picked up the phone.
I
would have picked up the phone with that client and I would have said, we got to talk about this because maybe we're just not right to work together. Otherwise, this is a bit much. And that's how my coaching is. It's not for the faint of heart. It's really, coaching with me. I'm very honest. I'm very bold. This is what it is.
It was a valuable lesson for me. And you're right. That is my process from now on. It's like, if I don't feel it with that person right away, it is not going to happen as much as I need the money, because I know in the long term, it's a burden, not a venture of capital. It's going to be a struggle the whole way just to make $1, but you really end up losing money because of the time, effort, and emotion that you put into it.
Yes.
So,
well, I like to get to a point where you don't need the money.
Yep.
Even if your bank account says otherwise.
Right.
Be in a space, right? And this is why it's really good to, and it's what I teach in my course, my Selling with Spirit course. I talk about finances to get to a place where you really don't need the money, because you might have the money in the bank account and you feel a lot lighter, a lot easier. But even if you don't, always be willing to walk away. Yep. Because this is the thing. For me, when I'm talking to a prospective client, we're looking to see if we can work together for a fit. I will walk. If it's not right, I'm going to walk, because I'm the expert and they're coming to me for support. And if they're trying to call the shots and say how things are going to go, then it means they're devaluing my coaching. They don't trust me. And what that really means is they don't trust themselves.
Right.
And I can't work with someone that doesn't trust themselves.
Yep.
Yeah.
So back to you, as we kind of talked about earlier, you've got a lot of, I don't know the right words, but you like to give a lot to the planet over and beyond business. And it's pretty interesting. I know you said you were an actor in Los Angeles and did a lot there, and you kind of went on and started doing YouTube videos. A lot of what you give back to the world, where did it all come from? Where did this all what was like the moment that changed, or maybe you were born this way? I don't know. Is there a moment that's kind of pivotally changed you to be, I'm going to go out of my way to get a mom and pop coffee versus just settle with Starbucks?
That's a great question.
Because you were pretty adamant about doing that.
Right.
That takes a special transition in life for a human being to go and be that adamant to do something like that, especially with a stranger.
Right. And that's part of my thing. Like we were just talking about, there's no negotiation. It's just, This is what I need. Or I would have gone without coffee. It's just the way that it is. I'm not going to die without a cup of coffee. I think it comes down to my meditation practice. I was born this way. Yes. I love humanity. Humans they're so beautiful. In each relationship, I look at each person and that each individual has friends and family who love them and bring out the best in them. So it's possible for each person, right? So I look at the amazing acts of generosity and kindness that humans are capable of, and how just with a smile, you can change someone's life, or someone can change your life, right? Just with one gesture can just uplift a person. And I really believe in humanity in that way. So I think, like I said, it comes down to my spiritual practice, because the more I go within, the more I meditate, the more love I feel. And that helps me to see that humans, if they hurt others, they don't mean it. It's the way they were brought up. It's the environment, right? A turtle will grow as big as its environment will allow it. And I believe that humans are the same. So you put them in a healthier, more prosperous environment, they're going to become healthier in mind, body, and spirit, and more prosperous, right? A couple years ago, I did 30 days of consumer fasting and only buying from corporate. I mean, not buying from corporate, only buying from small local business. That turned into 5 months. It was like, I like to do these 30-day experiments, right? Where I'll try things. And I did that. And it was incredible. It was incredible. I did 30 days where I walked every day. I didn't use my car. And that made me meet neighbors. I just really believe in giving the money to my neighbors. If I can get it, like the things that were difficult it was hard to get my utilities from anything other than a big corporation, my cell phone, and office supplies. If there are any mom and pop out there that does office supplies, let me know, because that was really hard to find. Otherwise, I got down to everything but my utilities, and my office supplies was from small local business, which is incredible. And it was the best feeling ever. These are people that will go above and beyond in service. They really care about me as a person. They care about my life and how their service and their product impacts my life. And here's the thing with money. I believe, money loves momentum. Money has an energy, and it's just like a person. I'm sure that you like to be appreciated, and you want to come around people who appreciate you and celebrate you, right? Money's the same way. So I find that the way that I spend my money, when I'm conscious about my money, how I'm earning my money, how I'm receiving my money, how I'm spending my money, who I'm spending it with, when it changes the energy behind the money. And I feel like we all really need to be conscious of that right now, because we can shift the energy behind money, which then shifts the energy behind our economic system. So if we get people doing that, it changes everything. So when I spend my money, I'm conscious of that, who I'm giving it to, how they make me feel. I don't want to go someplace where I don't feel good. My nails aren't done right now because I'm waiting. I'm just patient for a new nail technician that is actually really giving me. I'd rather pay more money and get impeccable service. Right? So then I can also promote them, and I can tell other people to promote, to hire them. Right?
Beautiful what you said, by the way. It's very beautiful. And, my father, you just noticed I went back east, and my dad has a little country store, and it's about as big as this room, like the condo here. And, I'm like sitting there, and of course I'm looking at it from a financial point of view, and Dad, you could be doing 20% more and 30, it's just in my head. So, but he's offering so much value, and he has that people that come to his store are coming there because of him and what he offers the community. For example, he sells a sandwich, a grinder, is what they call them back east, or sub. You'd see it Subway, and it's this big, and it's stacked with meat like that. And I'm like, Dad, I can go to Subway or a meal place in California, and that's 3 times the servings that they'll give, and they'll charge $12 for that, and you're charging $7 for this momentum of size sandwich with all this stuff on it. And I'm like, because always, they always brings up, well, I'm not making enough money and this and that. I'm like, he's kind of grumpy East Coast. And I'm like, well, I can make you guys $100 a day here just in serving portions, because they're putting like 2 layers of cheese, and when you go to, how you go to like a corporate place, you get like a piece of cheese here, a piece of cheese here, and a half a piece of cheese here, it's like not even a piece. And when he's not putting like 2 full slices, so I'm like, oh my God. And, they're very, you got a meal that lasts like 3 times, but back to him, I mean, these type of people are just amazing and unrecognized really in society today. We're all so caught up in, I got to go to Starbucks. I got to go to Subway. I've got to go here. I got to go there. And you're right. There should be a shift. And a lot of people are now making that shift and making people realize that shift. And it's just amazing that you're totally behind this to that degree.
It's part of why I feel great about charging more, because this is where the money goes.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
The more money I have, the more money I'm going to spread around to the community.
Yep.
It's very interesting, because I was having a conversation with one of my friends, a sister of mine, and we were talking about this over dinner last night. We were talking about how people are in such a rush. And we like to actually, when we go, get a coffee or get a sandwich, talk to people. Yep. How's your day? How are you doing? Instead of this robotic, like just transactional, quick sort of thing. You could just make a difference in somebody's lives, or I love the interaction with people.
Yeah.
Louis C.K. did, I think it's called Opie and Anthony, some radio show. It's on YouTube, actually, the episodes where he talked about this very thing, about being a consumer and how he prefers to spend his money too. He's pretty behind it as well. He talks about going to get, a coffee or a hot chocolate, I think he was talking about, from a mom and pop's store. And, you go into Starbucks or wherever, and they just are going to make it for you. Sometimes you get really good people at Starbucks. Sometimes they're really great and they love their job and they really care, right? Good hiring on their part. So, but you go into a mom and pop, and Louis C.K. was talking about going in and they're like, "Oh, would you like chocolate on that?" And they take the chocolate and they're like shaving, like shaving. It's a process. It's an experience, right? And that's really the difference. It's an experience. And he was talking about how in his car, he took out the carburetor. It had lasted, 20 years. And it was just this beautiful work of art. Whereas cars now, it's just the cars are sort of built to fall apart so that you have to keep getting a service. It's keep the computerized stuff, Yep. And he was just talking about quality of the way things are made. I love quality of the way things are made and also quality of the energy behind when they're created. Like I support a local farmer. I get all of my produce from a local CSA and I drive there every week. And you can taste the love energy in the plants. It was just grown with love, and there's animals all over the farm. I mean, this farm was run in the 30s.
Wow.
And there's kids all over, and it's just, why would I buy from corporate whatever when I can go to the local farmer?
Right. Yeah.
Right?
No, you're right.
Who's feeding me with love, literally.
Literally. And
it
what
energizes my cells.
Exactly.
Right?
In a different way. No, it's a way that we're pushed away from thinking. We're kind of being pushed away from the rush. Gets you to rush gets you to convenience. Convenience is corporate, right? And slowing down brings you to authentic relationships. Authentic relationships bring you to authentic places, right? So maybe the rush is part of the push that we are going into this machine operated world.
Yes, right. That's a really good point, Dennis, because the rush, it's going to make it so you're disconnected. I mean,
I'm stuck in it right now. I'm trying to find the fastest way to make my breakfast to get on to doing something and moving around and speed. And you're right. I mean, I've learned something here today, like slow it down, eat the way you need to eat, communicate. I mean, I'm learning definitely a lot about communication. I've learned that because of my podcast, but, 1 second, we're losing something here. But it's definitely amazing the difference between, I call it showing up. Actually, when you're driving home and you want to listen to something, I just posted a thing on showing up. And showing up means you were kind of talking about, you went to the coffee shop and talked to somebody. Well, there's one important part that people seem to miss. You got to show up as your authentic 100% self. I think you do that by default, but a lot of us have to be there for that person to be able to talk to. In other words, they don't have to be over here looking at the cute girl or over here looking at their cell phone or looking at the TV behind them. They have to be looking at the person. Like you and I are looking at each other and we're connecting. And there's such thing as connecting on a higher level. So once you communicate with somebody, then the door opens. The door opens to, okay, I can share with this person because I'm comfortable and I trust. And then you start beginning to talk on a whole different level, right? That whole higher self communication thing. So the show up is definitely the part that I think people need to understand is when they go out to this act of authenticity. I keep that going, screwing up that word. The act of authenticity, you have to show up. You have to be there with the communication going on. Our phones are shut off. All these different things. The only distraction I got is the video in the back of you. But otherwise, I can have this conversation with you. And that's what's great about doing these podcasts. I have to listen to you. I have to look at you. I have to hear what you're saying. I have to react in the proper ways to you. This is like training 101 for authenticity. It's great. I love the gift I've been given for this. So, and I take that out into public and do what you're talking about. And I'll literally get people commenting me, which would never happen in my entire life because I used to be that running around busy person. Like, oh my God, I appreciate how you listen to me. And I'm like, my friends would only hear this right now. They used to call me D, run around, D, multitasking, too busy, this guy that ran around and didn't listen to anybody. And now like I'm getting these comments. So, but you're right. It's showing up. And then what happens when you raise things to that level changes everything. Like, I kind of talked about this with business networking. Like you can go to a business networking and just listen to one person and react with them at 100%. And it'll blow away talking to 30 people because that person's going to leave there like in a trance. Like this person's amazing. This person's amazing. This person, I'm rating the world about this person, how amazing they is. And as soon as that something comes up that, hey, this person sells real estate. As soon as that somebody hears that in the background, they're going to go, this guy right here. Oh my God. End of story. So yeah.
Exactly.
Showing up.
I mean, and that's, to me, I feel like that's my foundational pillar for business and how I do business.
Right.
And I'm able to listen to people really well. I'm such a good listener because of my meditation practice, because it's all listening and quieting the mind, right?
What is that process, if you mind sharing it, your meditation process?
Well, I am so skilled with meditation that I can do it anywhere at this point. So there's open eye meditation, there's closed eye meditation, but I usually close my eyes. And for beginning meditators, you can, if you have thoughts come, you can let them pass like clouds. Just because we look at clouds and we don't attach to them, right?
Yep.
Just let them pass by. And then through meditation, you'll notice that you're not thoughts. And you can actually begin to pick. So if you see the thought pass like the cloud, you don't have to attach to it. And if you notice yourself being attached to it, that's okay. Oh, okay. I see that, and just let it pass. And we'll notice that we're not thoughts. And then comes in the empowering realization of, well, then I can choose my thoughts. If I can just go, oh, I like that one, and I'll just pick that one. No, that one, it's not the most empowering thought I could have. We'll let that one pass. Ooh, I like that one though. Pick that one. And that's what meditation does. It just slows you down. It gets you above the monkey mind, which is that chatter, that cyclical thing. It's just the same thing over and over again. It's like a tape. So the mind and the cells of the body, it's like a computer, literally. It has an operating system and you can reprogram it. It does take some time, but it's possible, right? It's just like you running this podcast. At first, you didn't quite know what you're doing. Now you're really good at it. It's just like anything else, takes practice.
Yep.
Then all of a sudden you're practicing and reprogramming, and then you're just like, oh my God, my default is I'm happy, and I don't need anything outside of me to be happy. And then you want to extend that to other people, and that's where shopping at the mom and pops and stuff comes in, right?
Yeah.
I was thinking a bit about, so listening is like we have 2 ears and 1 mouth, 2 ears. So I notice for me in my conversations that I have with people, I listen to them. I think sales is really about listening. The best salespeople are the best listeners. People are not going to care unless they know you care. So when you care, then they start to care. And that's when you get amazing clients, premium clients, is from listening to them, finding out what they need, and seeing how you can, it's all about them. One of my mentors, Leela, she talks about the Western Church of Me. Western Church of me. Me. And they're constantly having us get away from that. And I'm so grateful for that, because I find that the Western Church of Me, whenever I find myself stuck in it, it means that I'm not being of service. It's easier to be in martyr, in victim consciousness, in a pity party of it's so hard. The second I listen to somebody and I make it about them is the moment that I realize my life is amazing. I live in a beautiful place. I drive a great car. I ate today. I'm here with you. Life is good.
Right.
Yeah.
It is awesome to continually reflect on what we have. I mean, we are in one of the most beautiful climates, in one of the beautiful cities. We've got a little puppy dog over here. We've got all this technology. We've got us. and it's a great place to be.
We're healthy.
Yeah,
Right.
very healthy. And there's so many people that aren't. And I'll tell you what, when you're sick, you'll give anything to be healthy.
You'll give anything to be healthy. Oh my God, thank you for saying that, because it's so true.
Yeah.
It's so true.
All right. Well, we've reached our time here today, China, and I appreciate you coming on the 5-minute bark and sharing with us here today. This has been great. I really enjoy your time and what you're doing, and the lessons I've learned today from even speaking with you. I've always told people that the best part about a podcast is I get to obtain knowledge and understanding, and I've done that here today. So thank you for that.
My pleasure.
And any last words?
Yeah, I did have one more thing that I wanted to say.
Okay, then you
and
say
that's
it.
about slowing down. And I think that oftentimes people are afraid that if they don't slow down, that they're not going to receive what they need, right? If they are not doing what they need to be doing, that they're not going to. And actually slowing down creates breathing space. It's yin. Yin energy is feminine energy, and that's a very receptive energy. When we're going, there's no room for magic. There's no room for spontaneity, the unexpected, infinite possibility to come in, right?
Yes.
When we're slowing down, it's like leaving this giant field of infinite possibility to flow in. That's when everything shifts. So it's not about doing more, it's about doing less of the right things. So I get my clients to focus on what's the most lucrative and the most energizing.
Love it. And I call it, there's the level that most people go on, it's faith. And what you're kind of talking about is super duper natural faith. Because when you get in a point of supernatural faith, magic happens. It really does. And like you said, it's not about speed. It's not about time. It's about effective time in that space, in that very moment, that just can, I mean, they say we don't even tap into the abilities we have that our mind and body and energy does. But when you do tap into that higher supernatural faith, money appears, friends appear, help appears almost instantly.
That's right.
So it's a beautiful thing. Awesome. Everyone, thank you for listening here today to the 5-minute bark. We've got China Brooks, and you can find her on every social media out there on the planet. YouTube, Facebook. Okay, just YouTube and Facebook? Or everyone.
I'm on Instagram too. ChinaBrooks.com.
ChinaBrooks.com. And this has been great. I hope you guys really enjoyed this too. We love your feedback, and we love that you guys are listening to us here today. So with that, I'll talk to you soon. Hey everybody, learn from the best. I have now interviewed over 130 guests, and what I've learned was mind-boggling. So I've taken this, packaged it into a number of different courses to help you learn cutting-edge techniques my guests took years to learn. We have over 10 courses available, and these courses will reveal secrets on things like how to become a fearless public speaker, master social media, utilize YouTube, branding for your company, and a whole lot more. Each course includes a presentation along with expert advice from different guests from my show in an interview setting. I can promise you this, everybody, these courses are easily valued at over $300 each, and they're not a simple PDF download. So get your first free course here today at free.codiedog.com and start expanding your mind, expanding your education, and get inspired.
Hi guys, Billy Joe Murphy. I just wanted to give a shout out to Dennis and say thank you. I recently got his public speaking course, and it was just so amazing, so helpful that I'm actually doing this video right now. Dennis really presented the information with so much authenticity and so much vulnerability that actually made it feel doable. It made it feel like you can do it yourself. So I just wanted to say thank you so much, Dennis. You're such an inspiration. Keep shining your light. Your bark is getting louder and wider, and I love it. So here's to Dennis. Thank you so much, and hope to be on your show someday soon, Dennis. Thank you. Mwah. Namaste.
And then I also started taking Dennis's course, and I love the course. There's so much good content in it. One of my favorite sections that I recently completed was the speaking section, the different modules on public speaking, and I recently had a bunch of public speaking events lined up. So watching those videos, it really helped me get into state, get confident, and come up with some really good ideas to have a more effective presentation. So I implemented the ideas, I utilized the ideas, and I saw the results from using the ideas of the guest experts that he interviewed. So I just can't thank Dennis enough. I am so excited to see how my interview evolves. Once you have that interview, you have it for life. You have the footage for life that you can put in a media kit. You can put on your social media, on your website. You can show people. So that is just amazing. And then the skills that I'm learning from the online course to manufacture my celebrity status, that is just invaluable also.
You're watching the 5 Minute Bark podcast on YouTube. If you like this episode, you just may like many more. Subscribe today by clicking the red subscribe button in the top right-hand corner.